Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and welcome to Command Power, the show in which we discuss all things Magic the Gathering with a focus on Commander. And today we have a brand new episode in our card spotlight series in which I look at a card that I feel is underplayed or underappreciated in Commander and discuss its merits. But before we do that, just a quick reminder to please click subscribe if you enjoy these videos. It's the only way the YouTube algorithm really notices me, and we're currently growing the channel and it helps me a lot. Much appreciated. Alright, so let's jump right into our card spotlight for today. And today we are looking at Kothophed, Soul Hoarder. This is a 6/6 legendary demon for 6 mana with flying, and whenever a permanent owned by another player is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. So this is a card that is really underplayed in Commander, I feel. It is an absolute beast when it comes to card advantage, and it doesn't seem to draw much of a target when I drop it in games. It's always like very far removed from other stuff that people want to remove, unless there's nothing else on the board, in which case it probably will draw some attention. That being said, this card just does a lot. Before we get into why it's so good, I think it's worth discussing what Black wants to be doing in the Commander format, and what Black wants to be doing, amongst many other things, is removing creatures and removing opposing threats. So that's why there's a lot of cards that see a lot of play in Black, such as Morbid Opportunist. This is great with Black's game plan of removing stuff. It also works on our own cards, which Kothophed does not, so that is a little bit of a disadvantage for Kothophed. However, Kothophed has a lot of advantages over other card draw effects. So very quickly, the reasons I think this card is so good is, first, it triggers on permanence. What does that mean? That means that anybody else can do your work for you. If anybody is removing enchantments or artifacts or anything else, you're basically going to draw a card. That can really add up towards the end of the game or in the mid to late game. So then you also have this as a protection against board wipes or as a hedge for your own board wipes. So if you have this in play and somebody wipes the board, you're going to be drawing an absolute ton of cards. You do sometimes even have to be careful that you don't kill yourself with all the card draw, which is kind of awkward, but that's never really happened since you should be gaining a bunch of life in Black anyway. And then of course, if you're the one wiping the board, you can just play this into your own board wipe without any concern, since you're going to get a bunch of cards back when you wipe the board. So a lot of the cards in Black that draw you cards when things die, such as Morbid Opportunist, are only going to trigger when your own things die. But Kothophed is not doing that. It also comes on a decent body. A 6/6 flyer is nothing to sneeze at. Obviously 6 mana is a lot to pay, so this is not going to go in the most cutthroat, competitive EDH kind of decks, but it is going to go in any normal battlecruiser based meta or any meta with a bunch of removal in it. It also fits particularly well in certain strategies. So for example, in my Tariel deck, which is based around killing all of our opponent's stuff, it's going to be an absolute house. It's obviously really good in something like Toshiro Umezawa, because again, most of your game plan is killing your opponent's things with instants, so drawing a card every time something dies is going to be really fantastic there. But the reason this card is super good, I think, and the reason it should be in many more decks, is because it rewards you for doing absolutely nothing. You just sit down in a normal game of Magic, play this, and just forget about it, and it's gonna draw you 5 cards, 10 cards over the course of the game very easily. Since in a game of Magic, combat is happening, creatures are dying, people are casting removal, and since this is not the highest priority thing on the table usually, it can often live for quite some time, and you're just gonna find yourself drawing a bunch of cards, and often it'll be the reason you win the game, and you won't even notice that it was the reason that you won the game, because it's so innocuous at first sight. Anyway, that's been all for today. I just think this card is really underappreciated. It's only like 30 cents or 50 cents. It's under $1, should be in a bunch of decks. It's just a very good card, and it's a nice top end to pretty much any Black deck. So that has been all from me today. If you enjoyed this video or disagree with me even, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you really enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like or subscribe. And until next time, take care.